Signatures have been submitted to force a recall election concerning a school member in Plattsmouth, school board member. This updated from the Cass-Graham. The Cass County, Nebraska election office sent notice to Terry Cunningham Swanson that 859 signatures were accepted. 686 were needed to force a recall election. Petition forms were submitted last week with 940 signatures. The petition states that Terry Cunningham Swanson is a member of extremist groups and has a record of being anti-public education. This was the second attempt to petition and force a recall election.